Mine's not very long, but he did keep me mentioning CPH, so before I get into what I was talking about, because we did have a sale yesterday and it did well. For those that are selling the sale, it's always been a really good benefit. And even for those that don't forget, whether you selling it or not, that CPH sale is affecting your price every day because it has drove the price. It does drive the prices in our area up on cattle because people use it as a base. So whenever you're around. Second thing is how many people can always guess the high in the market, hit the highest day. That's one of the problems with CPH is it's a day in the sand. But do you realize that our sale in Owensboro hit the highest day and the highest market ever in the cattle industry last December? The highest marketing day ever in the whole U.S. cattle industry was that day. So we've hit a lot of low ones, but you kind of also need to know too that we hit the high one.
February too.
Huh?
The low ones about February.
It wasn't low. No, the market went down. The market went down, but over market, they've consistently been well for a long time. There's been times when there's not much over the market, but over the market it's been good. But I'm talking about just the market itself. I'm not talking about the CPH market. I'm talking about the cattle market in the whole country. I mean, that Thursday in December was the highest market, top dollar
In history.
in history. How about that? Don't happen very often. All right, so I'm always doing different things. So the new thing right now, how many of you know what long range wormer is by Marielle? Anybody? Nobody?
I know.
Yeah. Marielle came out with a wormer called long range wormer. It's an injectable, and it's supposed to be constant. It's supposed to work for 150 days. That's the claim. It has something in there that continues to allow the medication to work.
Let me correct one thing. It lasts 120 days. It only goes 150 on lungworms.
Well,
it's the only one.
But that's
So
150 days? On
it's
one
150 just on lungworms, which we don't have a lot of. But everything else, which we do have a lot of, is just 120. So people have been neglecting, they got 4 months there, so they're going out 5 months, and that last month they're not getting coverage. So that's been a problem because they are complaining that it's not working well. Well, they're pulling it out too far.
So I don't always believe in the research that's done. Just like the farmers sitting here, you want to see you want to see real world what happens. So I've worked with 8 different farms in the last 6 months, or since March. Some of them started in March, some of them started in April, some of them started in May. Let's just see. The reason we did this, Marielle has a guarantee. Their guarantee is if your calves don't gain 30 more pounds than the last set, then they'll give you your wormer, dollar for dollar wormer, not money, wormer, back. Well, because our sale requires an Ivamec wormer, then really it is dollar for dollar for us because we'll get the dollars back to continue to sell if you sell on the CPH sale. So we've started to get results. Like them, lump them, anything else. The biggest set is from Golf Farms in Union County. The investment was over $6,000 to worm their cows and their calves this spring. Okay? This wormer is expensive. It's about $1.20 per cc, and it's like a cc per 100 pounds on on the dose rate. So it's expensive. If you're comparing that to generic, which might cost 20 cents to worm a calf, a 550-pound calf, this is going to cost you $6-7. So it's a huge monetary difference. But with their guarantee, we wanted to see what happened. So they made the claim of 30 pounds. Well, we can't necessarily prove or disprove because it's a little gray area. Their calves that they weighed, the best we can did weigh 33 pounds heavier last night, shrunk weight, delivered weight after the 2%, more than they did last year delivered. Same genetics, same everything. However, these calves this year were 5 days older. We do know for a fact that their calves were gaining almost 3.15 pounds a day. So that kind of messes in with the 30 pounds. They were satisfied when they did the initial, and it may lend a little bit because we weaned these calves right at 100 days past the initial worming. Okay? We did everything else the same last year because we didn't want to say, okay, it's this that did it. So these calves did get an additional wormer at 100 days of a pour-on, just like they had the year before. The only difference in anything they did was last year they used Dectomax pour-on. I mean, that's what they used when they were little bitty calves, and that's what they gave the cows. This year they used the long range. Okay. At the 100 days, they were 22 pounds different average per group, and it ranged from 20 pounds to 24 pounds. They've got 3 herds of cows and then a herd of heifers. Well, the herd of heifers did the best, but the herd of heifers is not the, you can't compare that to the herd of heifers from last year because they're not it's not the exact same calves. We just wanted to kind of give a testament to it. Biggest thing that we saw, and it's not a claim, I'm just telling you what we saw when we worked 4 different groups of cows in 4 locations. The Goffs, the Slaytons, the Whites, and the Henshaws. Those 4 that we've seen. And the one thing is by far was the flies on the cattle were not there. I mean, I don't know if they don't make that claim. I'm just telling you, we went with Dr. Gardner from farm to farm to farm as we were doing our pelvic measures and our preg checks. And you go to farms that didn't use it, and there was a whole lot more flies on the cattle than at the farms that did use it. I mean, immensely different. I mean, I don't know whether that was the wormer. I'm just telling you, that's what we saw. Since we started doing this, other companies, they kind of want to join in and jump in. Pfizer, who makes Dectomax, their claim is saying on this long range that theirs is better than the long range to 80 or 90 days. I don't know. I just like y'all. I want to see what happens on the farm and go out here. One suggestion they're making, and I don't know how that goes on flies or anything else, but we will look at next year, is coming in with 2 shots of Dectomax, 80 or 90 days, give a shot, 80 or 90 days later, give a second shot and see how that goes. Cost difference. All I said, they spent $6,000. Talked with Kevin earlier. He don't agree with what I'm going to say on this. But we looked at it differently, okay? They sold 145 steers last night. Okay? Those steers, they sold them in 2 loads. One went in a 550-pound pen. One went in a 650-pound pen. So, for easy math, let's break that to 600, even them out to 600 pounds. On that 145 calves, and let's just say the calves gained 3 pounds a day, because we knew they were gaining that, and subtract 18 pounds off the 30 pounds that they were, 33 pounds that they were heavier. So if you take the 145, multiply it by 15, and then last night those calves, the heavy calves brought 239.50, the light calves brought 260. So if you blend it very conservatively down to 245 was the value of a pound, that left you at $5,400, roughly. Okay, I told you, what did it cost? It cost them $6,000. So that was still $600 short of what they spent. But really, if you look at what it's costing you to worm 300 cows and 300 calves, $600 would be hard to do with any name brand wormer on the market, whether it's a pour-on or injectable, okay, because the cost. So they still got the heifers at home, they still got the cows at home. I'm just saying what they sold. So for them, it was enough to look at. This herd's also very, very reproductive sound, meaning their cows breed, and they breed in a hurry, and I mean they select for it. However, this year, and is it the spring? Environments are different, but last year was a pretty good year too. I mean, we're saying how good it was this year. Last year was a pretty good year. Their cattle this year probably bred at about a 4% higher rate across the board. Averaged anywhere from 88% on their first calf heifers to 98% on what I call the core cows, the 4, 5, 6-year-old cows, because they kind of segregate them by age. I mean, they had one open out of 58 cows in that core group of cows. They ended up with about a 96% average breeding rate when you throw everything in. 80% of them bred in the first 21 days. I'm not blaming that on the worm. They always breed well, and they've been selecting for that, so I'm not saying on the wormer, but we did notice no flies. Past years, we weaned, Greg checked the exact same day, which is about the 18th, 19th of June. A lot of times they'll have a big tractor with a big sprayer hook spraying the cattle before they come into the chute. And you didn't want to wear shorts, you know, because you're getting bit all day long. You can wear shorts this year and never get bit because there wasn't any flies getting. But that's the long range. A lot of people don't know about it, and I know that it's expensive. I'm not sitting here making the claim. I'm just saying, okay, we're starting to see this. It might make sense. The only kind of drawback that nobody answers the questions for is once you start going to these more powerful, more expensive things, what does that do to the things that we're already using? Does it make them everybody has opinions. I guess time will tell. But that's the big thing. So that's what we saw. If you want to, they still have that guarantee. So that was making it nice for our sale because we have to use their sale. And she said 100, but for our CPH sale, if you use the long range, that means that as long as you're within the 150 days, that's all you have to worm. You don't have to be in the 60 days if you use the long range for our sale. So now you can kind of kick back. A lot of people are looking at that. So, any questions?
You notice a big difference in their keeper heifers versus last year, visually?
We didn't do their keeper heifers.
Oh.
We ran out of money.
Did they give them the money?
Huh?
Did they give them the $600 worth of medicine? They were short, right?
6,000.
We gave them $6,000.
Okay, you said it was $5,500, right?
Well, what I said is by looking at what the steers brought last night, and if you take half the gain that they got last night and attribute it to the worm, I mean, that could be a big if, but I mean, really, and this is just, don't forget, we've got 10 years worth of data on these cattle. We don't, I'm not just saying 2 years. We've got 10 years worth of data. I mean, you can go back through and see the weaning date. The weaning date the last 10 years doesn't vary more than 4 days. The sale date is not varying more than 4 days. So, I mean, this is a consistent, I mean, I do work down there, I mean, every year because there's somebody progressive wanting to do the next best thing. And we try things. Not everything works. You know, I was really expecting these cattle to come out last night and far exceed the 30 pounds because of what we had. One thing I will say though is every year we have a wet year, our cattle will weigh less down there than in a dry year. Their calves will weigh 10 to 20 pounds heavier in a dry year than they do in a wet year.
And there's something, there may be something to that. Then I know a good friend of mine, they turn out 300 stocker calves on a custom graze deal there in Cada's area. And again, we're comparing year to year. I'm criticizing you for going year to year. I'm gonna compare year to year. But he last year their heifers, and they gained 165, and this year they just delivered them and they gained 1.5. And if you think about it, just from a logical standpoint, I mean that cow will fill up with water. If that grass has more water content, she'll eat and fill, and she may fill up. And that rumen can only hold so much, and maybe water's displacing. And it's that little bit of dry matter. It could be just a small amount. That little bit of dry matter is what gives you that extra little tenth or two a gain, you know, over above maintenance. So.
And rate of passage is faster.
There you go. That's a good point. Yep.
Means they poop more.
Right.
You know.
So
nice way to put it.
Their consensus after looking at it last night, they don't think it cost them a penny. They're not necessarily sold that it made them 4 or 5 to 1 on their money. but they will go another year with it and see. But and when I say there's even argument on worming cows and everything anyhow. I mean, from all different, we can put 10 vets right here, we're going to get 10 different answers, okay? But they do worm their cattle 2 to 3 times a year. This is the first time they'd ever used an injectable of any kind. That's where we're at on it. I kind of like, kind of seeing the latest and greatest new things. They're saying the vaccine, just so you understand, I mean, the vaccine is the next thing coming with it that kind of continues to deliver medication just besides the day you give it to it. So that's kind of where technology is headed. Ready to eat, Carrie?
No.
Oh,
I'll tell you, the beauty of long range is it's like giving them 2 dewormings in one shot. That's why it's so expensive. So if you don't have labor, or if you don't have good facilities, you can do just once, and then you don't have to usually do it again for the summer. So that's its real advantage.